And also in the corporate function, I have been to 27 countries and worked in 21 countries on small or big projects. And I'm an expert on Procter & Gamble's integrated work systems, productive maintenance, and I have been the leader for productive maintenance for Asia and Eastern Europe. So basically this PM is a technique of improving maintenance strategies from autocratic maintenance to autonomous maintenance, and from the calendar-based maintenance cycles to the predictive maintenance cycles. And sustainability is one of the areas which is very close to my heart, and I have been awarded many awards for improving the carbon footprint and other concerned improvements in the field of sustainability while I was in my previous organization, Procter & Gamble. So we brought many laurels for our organization when I was there in my employment. Right now, I'm free and looking for new opportunities. So coming back to the...
Upinder, can you put into presentation mode? Sorry to disturb.
Okay. Any better?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So the 6S is about 40 years old concept which is being talked about in the industry. Basically, this is a Japanese concept, but this still holds good in today's scenario as well, because this is a ever evolving concept, and industries which are using this are still feeling that yes, there's a lot more to do, and ever since that this is being used as a stepping stone for any cultural change we want to bring into any organization. You see, you want to go in for the high performing organization, you want to go for 6 Sigma, you want to go for lean manufacturing, you want to go for quality circles, you want to go for 6 Sigma design plant and all that. So this is basically a stepping stone for doing any improvement activities or trigger any cultural change in any organization. Generally, this is felt that it is a tool which is used for improving the housekeeping, but I'm afraid this is not that. It does that too. It's a lot more than what it is understood in today's environment. So let's just read this quite busy slide, which has got a certain word which have been underlined, and let's understand the weightage of the word which has been underlined. Okay, because this has been very specifically articulated to understand the gist of this system. So it's a way to do better, involving all, inculcating sense of ownership. And 6S is a workplace organization and continual improvement technique. And it helps create, enhance, maintain efficiency and effectiveness standards of work area with safety as an inbuilt criteria. So this is not only the housekeeping tool. It delivers a nice and clean workspace. It's much more than that. And housekeeping is just a iota of this system. Now the question comes, why should we be doing this? What are the desired deliverables from this system? So this, first of all, enhances the team working environment or interdependence culture in any organization, which is an essential ingredient for any improvement in an organization, wherein we want to do some step change or where we want to bring in some cultural change and all that. And it helps in improve efficient work processes and practices, develop clutter-free layouts, improve inventory levels, optimal space utilization, improve productivity or profitability, safer work environment, and clean and hygienic work areas too. These 6S's, like as I mentioned in the beginning, so this was basically a Japanese technique, and these 6S's, like these are called Seri, Seto, Seiso, Seiketsu, and Shitsuke. And basically, when this was started, there were 5 S's. Now the 6th S has been added later on, keeping in view the involvement of our processes and all that, like which are getting complex and complex day by day, to take care of the safety aspect. So that's why this 6S was added later on. Let's talk about this S one by one. First S basically is meant for sorting. Basically, it helps in separating the needed item from the not needed. Generally, the tendency is there, even in our homes. What do? We keep on accumulating things at our places. Oh, kabhi kaam aayega, rakh do. But that kabhi nahi aata. And in the process, we keep on accumulated things which are never needed and which are eventually thrown or discarded to kabadiwala. But in the time till those are disposed of, they keep on accumulating our space. They have become hindrance in the housekeeping. They at times become a reason for safety incidents and all that. So this basically eliminates the not needed items and perform an initial cleaning. In this process, we do it. What do? We identify the items which are no more needed, move not needed items to a hold area, so those are not thrown at the first go. And the conduct a white elephant, say like, okay, the people come and identify the things and all that. All these groups come, and the items which have been termed as not needed are placed at one place, wherein teams come from different areas. They decide what to do about this thing. Should we keep this or should we not keep this? In case there are items which can be utilized at a later date, those are kept at certain specified place, so that with a marked tag, and then we conduct the initial cleaning and all that, so that after removing this unneeded item, and establish criterion for handling of such items for future. So this is the first step of the 6S. And generally, with my experience, I would say this is the most difficult step. Once we do this diligently, so I'm sure we'll be able to do the other steps implementation very effectively. And it takes a lot of time in completing this first step. So moving on to the next step. The second S is simplifying. And the means, a place is. Yeah, I'm just taking a pause.
I was up at usually मैं 8:30
Please, 1 minute, please.
और सुनाओ.
This second S basically is simplifying, wherein we say that arrange workplace for safety and efficiency, and herein we say that a place for everything and everything is in a place clean and ready to use. This step we determine location for each item, outline location and zones, develop schedule, label items, document layout, equipment, supplies, and all the markings are done on floor where the thing will be kept, and the spaces are marked. And just to let you know, this is the system, or these are the utilized in any place, say factory, office, even home, or every place this has found its place for implementation. The third S is start for systematic cleaning for inspection, basically, this is a basically in this step we use just our one of the 6 senses. And in,
Upinder ji, एक minute, sorry. Bharat, can you put your mic on mute? I think you are talking in the background. Bharat? We have to mute him.
yeah, so
I think Dr. Nikhil can do it.
Okay, sir, I'm doing this.
Done, sir, done. You can carry on.
Okay.
yeah, okay. So in this step, we do the systematic cleaning. So this systematic cleaning is performed basically in this step. We utilize one of our 6 sense, which is called touch. When we perform cleaning, the moment we touch anything for cleaning, we come to know about its condition, how it is. Suppose if we are cleaning, say, one piece of equipment, say one assembly of equipment, so we may come to know about whether there's some leakage, whether there's some crack, whether there's some nut or bolt which is loose, or whether there is some earthing broken, or whether there is some slackness, where there's some wear and tear in the component. So the moment we do the cleaning, it's basically a indirect process of inspection. We do carry out that inspection as well in the process of cleaning, and which helps us to identify certain abnormalities in the system or equipment, and we make a project or rectify those abnormalities depending upon the severity of those abnormalities. So, and in this step, we identify the points for the check of for the performance of that particular equipment or the area, or determine acceptable performance or acceptable standards. So what are the visual indicators and all that? Like in the case of gearbox, we can put some oil levels and all that. Maybe in the pressure gauge, we can put some line marks, what should be the acceptable limit for the pressure and all that. So, and then mark equipment and the controls, etc. And we conduct daily or periodical cleaning depending upon the requirement for that piece of equipment or that place. So it equally holds good for the office environment as well. Once we have done all this thing, then there is the need for standardizing the thing, so that whatever we have achieved, it should be done in a systematic manner so that everybody follows the same standard. So there should be similarity, there should be homogeneity in whatever we do. So that we follow the same system and follow the common approach, and make abnormal condition noticeable and the document agreement. I'll just give you one example. What is done in this case, like if there is any gearbox which has got a permanent leakage problem, the space placed under that is white painted, so that it becomes noticeable the moment there is a leakage. So this kind of standards are created, and so that the things become noticeable, so that we don't have to put more efforts to identify those abnormalities. So in this process, we establish standards method across similar or dissimilar and specific work areas. And all those standards and agreements of checks are documented, and the standards are developed depending upon the outcome of the step or level audits. And this is a continual improvement activities, so that over a period of time, this keeps on evolving and the standards keeps on improving, and the newer documents standards are documented. Coming to the fifth as sustaining. So like once we have achieved certain improvement, nobody would like to slip in on that. So that this sustenance is very important for any cultural improvement activities. So generally what happens, after achieving some results, people become a little relaxed. Okay, we have achieved this. So this sense of complacency should not come, so that to avoid this complacency in the system, so this sustenance is very important. And in this step, we do activities to maintain and improve standards, and determine higher success level depending upon the achievements, and perform routine audit check and analyze results from the routine check and measure progress and plan for the continuous improvement. So this is a cyclic thing, so which is never stopping thing. This is a ever evolving exercise, and it's a journey. It's not a without any destination. We have to keep on improving. And there's always a scope of improvement. The sixth S is safety. It is meant for creating safe working environment, and focus remains on the unsafe work areas and the practices to eliminate any existing or potential hazards. And this became part of this 5S. It was additional S once it was felt that our equipment are getting more and more complex with the time. So that we should be adding this aspect as well. So having the company are supposed to be establishing their organization or area-wise safety teams, and teams are empowered to identify unsafe work areas, processes with their record if those are available, or with their gut feels, and the teams are carried out to do the risk assessment or hazard identification exercises, and involved teams are to develop also the countermeasure for the identified risk or the hazard. If they can't, then the experts are involved to do the identification work. Now, how to start it? So there are three basic steps involved. One is the planning, evaluating, then preparing. Then in planning, create a 6S lead team involving all leadership levels, associates, and support. I'm sorry, because this is very important, because this we are starting to embark a journey which is for cultural change, and for for this involvement of top leadership is very important, and also not only the blessing from the leadership. I use the word involvement. They should be leading from the front, and they should be exhibiting that they are in for this improvement, and they want this change, and they need to act as role models as well. And they train the lead team on the 6S techniques, start a pilot project involving leadership as well. So that it is very important for associates to see that our top leadership is very much keen in bringing in the change. So unless they exhibit their desire to bring in the change, this change will never happen. Because this is not something which is a change in the equipment or machine where we do certain settings, the machine will work. This is something which is a cultural change, wherein we are looking for the change in individuals' mindset. So it is very important to touch their soft corn and their nerves. So exhibition of this thing is very important. So define the work areas, then 6S boundaries, then install communication boards and all that, and determine the 5S targets, activities, and schedule, and keep on reviewing the plan and keep on working with the group. And later we can re-implement this thing in the different areas. So this is how this, like example of how these boundaries are decided. Say in a plant or some area. So let's say in certain environment we have 4 different areas. Identify those people who are the owners of these areas and who will be leading this thing. So this is just a broad example of how the boundaries are decided with their owners and the areas properly marked. And this is the communication board. And if you see here, so these are the 6S team members. Who are the team members? It could be their names, or it could be their pictures, and what is the level of achievement of that particular group, or 6S implementation plan. The plan has to be put in place, so it should be very elaborate with the dates and the level where we should be achieving. Then 6S boundaries, photos, which are the current situation and after the 6S. And what are the routine checklists and what are the improvement projects which are coming out of these activities. So then comes our evaluating our initial situation, where we are. 8 areas for critical assessment with the team. Prepare to take work area photographs. Evaluate current 6S level status as on date. And for this, we can use this kind of evaluation metrics. And wherein if we see here, so these are the 5 S's are listed on the x-axis, and on the y-axis there are the what are the levels, and there are the criterion for these levels are mentioned. So we mention where we are, what are our starting level. And here a certain example I've been sharing for what are the before and after. These are typically industrial example wherein some technician, one technician is working and he's been fiddling with his tools and all that. So here after the 5S, the things are properly in order and he's looking happy to, as compared to the other initial state where he was found to be confused. And this is another example. So these are basically the real examples I'm sharing. This tool as well as a real example. And this is some of the examples. And this is one of the examples of office environment. And again, these are the examples how this could be done in a better, good manner. And if you see here, these are the files are there, like in case we remove one file, you will come to know immediately that one file is missing and all that. So this is again a visual control for this kind of thing. And here we see one of the shadow board, wherein all the tools have been put on a board. The moment we remove one tool, there is a painted place which will show what is the size of the spanner or tool which has been missing, and which will help us to bring that thing back to the location. Like if you see here, like from here, this C clamp is missing, and this space is empty. And so is here for a pneumatic drill or something like that. These are the example of one of the factory wherein engines are available for the testing. If you see here in the wherein we have done all this in the all these equipments are painted white, so that any abnormality or any unhygienic condition or anything which is not right in order, so that is clearly visible. And there is another example. So this is what I have to share on the 6S. And if you have any question, please feel free to ask me.
So Upinder Praveen here.
Yes,
Sorry, Professor Nikhil, if you want to say something before I ask question.
No, sir. Please carry on.
Okay. So, sir, 5S is something, you know, in one of my previous assignment also, I've seen the implementation of it. So one of the thing is that it really makes the workplace very nice, neat and tidy. So of course, when the things are set up in an order, they look very nice and it gives you a pleasing feeling from internally. So your productivity is bound to go up. So my question is whether has it been quantified by the management team in terms of its link with the revenue benefit versus for the 5S. So while I'm saying that theoretically it makes very good sense because it pleases everybody when the things are in order.
Yeah. Praveen, you mentioned, yes, 5 years you have implemented this. Yes, this has been calculated, but if you see, all these things are not directly related to revenue. As I mentioned, this is a initial step for bringing in the cultural change, and this is used as a bedrock uh, setup to do some changes which you want to do in the future. So do not look it for the financial thing, but do not look for the numbers here. But your purpose of implementing 6S or 5S is to create an environment for the future improvement so that your culture in the organization changes, people's attitude towards working changes so that they start taking the ownership of the areas, they start taking commitment, they start getting uh, used to do the analysis, start doing the work with the normal, the worker which are supposed to be doing are doing this, do not keep continue doing that, and they do much more than what is desired in today's environment. So yes, there are certain examples that let me tell you on the one case in my company. What we used to have a habit of technicians keeping spares issued from the store and just keeping into their steel boxes or some almirahs and all that. And I'm sure this must be a practice we could do really everywhere in the factory environment. And when we did this sorting first exercise, everybody's toolbox was emptied. And you know how much tools we found? The Allen keys and the small spears and a certain very costly spears, those were lying hidden in the people's drawers. They were just keeping it to save time. So that कौन स्टोर जाएगा, कौन इशू करवा के आएगा, जब जरूरत होगी इशू करा लेंगे. And that helped us in reduction in our space inventory and our cost of maintenance. So this is one of the example which was quite substantial in number, and we did not have to buy any tool for years together, wherein using of Allen keys and other tools is very, very common in the factory environment. So this helped us to save a lot on those things. And I'm talking of this environment thing. Hope I've answered your question.
Yes, sir, you answered. I know the larger part of the question would be, what happens when you start doing this process? I'm just sharing with my experience.
Yes, please.
So in the initial phase, when you make the things clean, you feel happy yourself for sure. So your productivity goes up. But what happens is, as you mentioned, that there is no destination. It's a journey, right?
It's a journey.
What happens once you bring your things to a normal level, means which looks good, in order, everything. So the tendency of going further higher in terms of improving the workplace where you have, it takes much longer time until unless there is a very specific motive or very specific connect in terms of revenue, because the challenge is the management takes an interest when there is a revenue linked with it somehow. So then they go after it. Otherwise, management also lose some after some time.
Praveen, to answer you on that, if I may be allowed, Upinder.
Please, Kausar.
To answer you on that, see, automotive field is very, very competitive, and there's a cutthroat competition between the suppliers. So when you have go as a customer to a tier 1 supplier and you find the difference between the two tier 1s, obviously you would want to be getting associated with a supplier which has a better success associated with the supplier on the shop floor. And that's how you win more orders, and that's how your revenue increases. So there are tangibles, there are intangibles, and tangibles are the indirect ones, wherein with respect to the competition, if your technology is same as far as the product or subsystem is concerned, then you would want to go for a supplier whose success is better, and you are able to see visual difference on the shop floor. Your confidence level as a customer gains many folds, and you would want to give the business to the supplier whose success is better. So that's how revenue gets connected to the success. that is what we have seen in automotive tier one suppliers, where we have advantage of if the 6S is better in the shop floor.
I think that you are saying the perception makes a lot of difference.
It makes
ultimately,
huge
yeah.
difference. It makes
Right.
huge difference.
Thank you, Kaustubh.
I'm sorry, Kaustubh, if you have completed.
So this is the linkage of revenue. Other than that, as Upinder was saying, if you see the P&L, which is profit and loss account, which normally the senior management looks at it, what you see is that in terms of inventory, when you have 6S better, your inventory gets reduced considerably. I mean, it's a consideration for the P&L of the year, and you will see the operating cost gets improved year over year. It gets improved by some percentage points. So that is another contribution what you see it in terms of bottom line. Other than the morale of the people, other than the feel good factor what you have, other than the wow factor what you get when you look at the shop floor after having instituted 6S within the manufacturing organization.
Thank you, Kaustubh. Nice.
Upinderji, this is Rajesh.
Yes, Rajesh.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I think very informative presentation. In your success, the last S is safety.
Yeah.
So, could you please share what kind of targets we take for safety?
Yes. Yes. Very good question, Rajesh. Generally, in a work environment, what we have felt that there is basically there are certain kind of safety incidents. Like there are certain incidents do happen in the organization which are recorded as a recordable safety incident. There are certain cases which are called near misses, what do not happen, but they were about to happen. Those are also recorded. But this kind of exercise help us in identifying those kind of incidents which have not happened and do the timely eradication of those conditions helps in avoidance of this kind of incidents, which are called safety incidents, which could be even fatal as well. So due to this, we will save a lot of work time, which otherwise could have gone wasted due to these safety incidents.
So it is clearly quantifiable.
Yes, this is very quantifiable number of incidents which are recorded, because let me tell you, in our previous company in Gillette, we had records of 49 years for all the factories for the recordable as well as the non-recordable and the near-miss accidents.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, so these are basically our metrics which are shared for the organization, and these carry a very high weightage for the sites, KRAs.
Just to add on to this, what Upinder is saying, it's a lead measure, what we're saying near miss.
Yes.
It's not a lag measure. Lag measure
Lead
is
measure.
which you measure after the incident happens. For example, lost time accident cases. So you lose the time once the accident happens. But the near miss is a lead measure where you are focusing upon that how do we prevent accidents to happen. So what you go through is you understand that where are the possibilities of incidents. So you record those incidents and work upon them. That's what Upinder is trying to tell.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. Thank you.
Coming back to Praveen. Praveen, just to let you know, so that to me it seems that we are still hooked upon that deliverable from the 5S is just a clean and hygienic workspace. So I think we need to look beyond this, and this 5S or 6S is much more than that.
No, I agree. Because I think we were mostly into the sales environment.
Yeah.
Where we improved our desk, we improved our quotation technology, methodology, all those stuff. But I think this is highly useful in a workplace, factory kind of environment, manufacturing plant, where the productivity can be improved drastically versus a sales operation. Everywhere it has a utility.
Let me give you an example of my corporate function. While I was in UK, so in our work area, we implemented this. And let me tell you, for the photocopying, everybody used to have a printer at their desk and all that, so that photocopying, imaging equipment and all that. And everybody used to have their own supplies of cartridges, then inks, then paper, and all kind of papers, like sales and marketing guys are there. They are having all kind of, glazed papers and the for taking glossy papers and all that. So, but when we implemented this thing, everything was centralized and the saving was enormous. So this can be not something which is limited to the factory environment. This can be implemented in any work area, any work sphere. So say even in the marketing offices or even corporate office, this can be equally implemented if we have got the desire to implement. Only thing is that we need to have that keen interest to implement these things.
I agree. As I said in my opening statement, that this really creates a lot of productive environment, first of all. So there is no doubt. I agree, and I think your answer and Kaulsav's answer satisfied my questions.
Yes. Any more question, please?
Any more question from participant side? Thank you, Upinder, for such a nice presentation. And thank you. And I'm thankful to all participants for being with us. Thank you all. Now I am closing the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night and good day to my.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.